watery places in southern Scotland that have been revered through the centuries by the people that lived here, whether they be pagan or Christian, Celts, whatever they were. Things like rivers, lochs, waterfalls, sea inlets. You know, water plays a big part in the spiritual culture in this land. But there's one type of water, or water source, that's kind of overlooked, but it was probably the most holy and the most revered of all the water sources, because it provided the people with extremely nice, fresh, drinkable water. And that was wells, holy wells, wells which have been real places of worship and thanks to the earth ever since the beginning of time. And there are lots and lots of these sacred wells all over the place, but there doesn't seem to be many here in the Scottish borders. Or are there? Yeah, I was on holiday just recently, just last week actually, down to Glastonbury in England, south of England. It's a great place, fantastic history and mythology, and lovely scenery there as well. Good place to visit. But one thing which really did strike me was this Chalice Well in Glastonbury. This well, which has become a real site of tourism and pilgrimage, and for good reason. It holds this fantastic myth associated with it, Joseph of Arimathea, and how he came over from Jerusalem after Christ had been crucified, and he almost planted the Holy Grail in this site, and from that site sprang this water of the Chalice Well. Now believe that if you will, but whatever the truth, this Chalice Well really is a fantastic place, and you can feel the energy in that well. But what they've done well in Glastonbury is they've taken that and they've used it to bring tourists to Glastonbury. They've made it ornamental gardens, and you charge people to get in, you become a member. There's even a hotel or a hostel or something there. It really is a site of great pilgrimage. I would really advise you to go. But it got me thinking, why don't we do that in the Scottish borders? Why don't we do that in the Scottish borders? There must be wells in the Scottish borders. And since that time last week, I've discovered that there are loads of wells in the Scottish borders. Some more famous and some are more sacred than others, but the legends are just as big. And the properties of the waters in these wells is just as good. So why don't we promote them? Who knows? But what I want to do today is go and see if I can find some of these wells. But yes, there is one well in the Scottish borders which has become a tourist attraction, and it's this St Ronan's Well in Innerleithen. The yew trees on the site with all this secondary growth all over them, beautiful, unusual. The well is actually closed just now because of COVID-19, but it really is a museum and a tourist attraction. It was made famous by Sir Walter Scott, who wrote a novel about it. Let's try it. Beautiful. Where the The well has been adopted as this great Christian site, because apparently this monk, St Ronan, was travelling up the Tweed Valley when he came upon the lovely wells here with enough nice fresh water. And what he did was he clicked, like a big hook, he clicked the devil out of here and began a Christian community in the Innerleithen Valley. And that's the story of why this well became so famous and revered. Waters of the well are supposed to be very therapeutic, healing even. Great renown of quality and mineral content or whatever it might be, but people wanted to come here to experience the water direct from St Ronan's Well. Yeah, so once this site is open again after COVID-19 regulations have died down a bit, it's very worth a visit. I've never been, but it seems like a very interesting place. But not all holy wells became as famous and as revered and well used as St Ronan's and Innerleithen. There are some, in fact, that were hidden because the landowners didn't want people on pilgrimage to these sacred sites. And one is reputedly on this stretch of the River Tweed here, quite near Dryborough Abbey. But just across that side of the Tweed is the old Melrose Abbey. There's a ford over to this side, and apparently at this side was the well where St Cuthbert and his fellow monks at old Melrose Abbey used to obtain their water. It really was a really holy and revered site, but it's been lost or hidden over the centuries. So can it still be there? Can we find it? Now the rough location of the well I've been given is just on this side of the river somewhere. We're going to have a good look in these woods over here in a minute. But what you see over the other side here, this big house in the estate, is known as Monksford. Monk's Ford. So here, this shallow part of the river was where the monks used to ford from old Melrose Abbey. But why were they coming over here? Okay, maybe they were travelling, maybe they were journeying, but I think one of the main reasons they were coming over here was for water, or clean water, no river water that's been running through God knows what. So the well must be over here somewhere, next to Monk's Ford. I was kind of thinking this might be it for a second, but I don't think this is it. It's kind of bone dry down there. I'm pretty sure this well is still expurging tons of water from the land. This looks like it might have been some sort of pit that was dug as a well. I'm not sure what this is. Interesting. Sure this woodland is the site of the well. There are a lot of buzzards here which seem to be getting, can you hear them? They seem to be getting agitated by my presence, so I don't really want to hang about here too long and cause them any agitation. And obviously I don't want them to attack me either. This could be it. Yes, this is it. This is definitely it. This is the well used by St Cuthbert himself. This holy spot where water just rises from the ground as if by divine intervention. A real holy spot, but hidden, literally hidden from the public. So nobody pilgrimages here. But it could be another Chalice Well, you know. What a wonderful gift to the monks of old, this fresh supply of water from this hole here in the ground. Wow. Yeah, these buzzards are really starting to scare me a bit. I think they're vying for my blood. Yeah, so the thing's just sitting here now full of litter, for want of a better word. This sacred site of old, this place which should be a place of pilgrimage, but isn't. So we've been to St Ronan's Well, the place which was exploited and maybe didn't have that much history to it compared to St Cuthbert, but it's been used at least, to this one. Completely and utterly forgotten with this great story. But I want more. I want even bigger legends, and a well that maybe still survives. Something to rival Joseph of Arimathea and Glastonbury. Surely we don't have that in Scottish borders, do we? But there is a well, a more holy well, but less well known, which still survives to this day in the Scottish borders. But where is it? Well, it's here, in the valley of Weedale, more modernly known as the Valley of the Gala Water, and it's near the little village of Stow. And the religious story around this little well is nothing short of mind-blowing. And it's mind-blowing that nobody knows about it. So let's just walk further north up this valley of Weedale, and see if we can find Our Lady's Well. Wow! Look at the girth on that ash tree. Holy wells are another thing which has been adopted by Christianity, just like yew trees, I suppose, where the temptation is to believe that the Christian religion was the only spiritual thinking that has venerated these sites. But holy wells, or wells, were clearly sacred and venerated long before the rise of Christianity. They were great pagan Celtic sites of worship too, and most of them, these sites of water, were dedicated to Celtic goddesses. So there's no doubt that the well here in Weedale would have been dedicated to a Celtic goddess, because it contains such abundant fresh water in this really important place. But it was during the 6th or 7th century when King Arthur himself was allegedly roaming these lands, that this well became a real site of pilgrimage for the Christian faith. You see, this place here was the site of one of King Arthur's great battles against the Saxons. And one of the reasons why he won that battle is really down to something that happened at the well. And I'm pretty sure the well is around here somewhere on this old field. Empty field, agriculture. Because you see, close to the eve of the battle, Arthur was at the well, the holy well of Weedale, when he was visited by someone, none other than the Virgin Mary. St Mary herself, the Holy Mother of God, visited King Arthur at the well. And it was there she told Arthur he must take an image of her on his shield into battle, and that would make him win the battle. So Arthur did this. He went into battle with Mary on his shield, and they won. He defeated the Saxons right here on this very land. Now it's said that where Mary stood, right in front of Arthur at the well, her feet made an imprint in the soil, and the soil was petrified, and a huge boulder lay there for hundreds of years, bearing the actual footsteps of the Virgin Mary. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it, alright. It's been beautifully preserved quite recently, I think, you know, but you can still see the crystal clear water inside there. Yeah, you can see the crystal clear water still down in there. If it wasn't for all the cow shit around here, it would probably be still very, very clean. But where is this huge boulder with the Virgin Mary's footsteps in it? Well, the sad news is that apparently in 1812, it was still here in 1812, but during the construction of the road there, it was broken up for bedding for the road. Now if that's not an example of sacrilege or vandalism or whatever, blasphemy, whatever you want to call it, then I don't know what is. Absolutely disgraceful. But this is such an important site with such a fantastic story. I just don't understand why it's so forgotten. There should be another Chalice Well. There should be gardens and a gift shop and members and crowds of people pouring in here every day to come and pay their respects to this beautiful sacred well. So there you go, it's just an example of another one of these fantastic, mythical Scottish border sites that I really would urge you to come and visit, and I can guarantee you there'll be no queues to get in.